It's a great pleasure to welcome you to our news channel, where we provide up-to-date first-hand information about the Boston Bruins. We are committed to sharing only true, high-quality news with our followers. Don't miss the latest and most up-to-date Boston Bruins news, posted daily here, by subscribing to our channel. Bruins Zacha and Coyle will likely take on bigger roles next season. The Boston Bruins are in a transition period this offseason. After a first-round exit saw their historic season come to an end, and with the futures of veteran centers Patrice Bergeron and David Krejci up in the air, there are likely to be some significant ripples felt. That much was made clear during the Bruins season-ending press conference, which saw Bruins CEO Charlie Jacobs, President Cam Neely, General Manager Don Sweeney and Head Coach Jim Montgomery meet with the media to discuss the season and the prospects for the next off-season. Ideally, I wouldn't be sitting here. I will be perfectly honest with you. And I think everybody knows that, Sweeney said. And I take a lot of ownership of the fact that we're sitting here. So we have a really good group of young players who are committed to this organization in some key positions for our organization. We have to grow and promote some younger players who will play some roles. So we feel good if you look at the guys that can play a role in the top 6 right now. I think we have to fill the bottom of our list. On paper, the Bruins still have Brad Marchand and Taylor Hall on the left wing, David Pastrnak and Jake DeBrusk on the right wing, and Pavel Zacha and Charlie Coyle in the middle. This isn't the NHL's worst top 6, but it certainly falls short of where the team was with Bergeron and Krejci in the middle and Bertuzzi somewhere in the mix. The depth of the team was also affected, as Coyle and Hall anchored the team's third row last season. Pavel Zacha could have a much bigger role for the Boston Bruins next season after starting his first year with the team. Amy Irvin / the Hockey Writers. Still, changes are afoot, and the Bruins could do a lot worse than these internal role swaps. It's important to note that Zacha and Coyle are very capable centers in the NHL. While the Bruins were unable to recruit and develop a young center to replace Bergeron or Krejci, they did a good job of finding good players who could take over on a permanent basis or as a bridge to the next top spot. Top-level center comes to town. This doesn't mean that Zacha and Coyle will replace Bergeron and Krejci, but it does mean that the team has the personnel it needs to fill in the gaps right now. Zacha posted career highs of 21 goals, 36 assists, 57 appearances, and 82 games last season and was an important part of the Bruins' success last season. He would also add 6 assists in 7 postseason games. Coyle, on the other hand, had nearly identical totals in his 2021-22 season, including 16 goals and 45 points during the regular season and 2 points in 7 playoff games. Point totals may not jump off the page in the postseason, but arguably no player was more important to the Bruins in the playoffs than Coyle this season. No one expects them to fully replace the impact of number 37 and number 46, as that would be next to impossible considering all they've done for the team and the city. The exemplary game that both players left, said Jacobs. In terms of impressions on this organization, I was lucky enough to be at the draft table when both players were selected, and it's funny how fate unfolds. The days we select these players, frankly, as much as scouts and others want to take credit for understanding how special a player these two gentlemen would be, you just don't know. Jacob would go on to say. And then you meet these men and you understand what they are and their values and how they approach their day-to-day work, and they are real professionals, they are real players, for lack of a better term. I use that, players are people who are inside and both players are players, in my opinion, and that's something that's hard to replace. I hope people, teammates in that locker room, find them as leaders and try to emulate them and use them as an example of how they approach their own game. If Bergeron and Krejci return to the team and try to bounce back next season, the Bruins could try some role changes in the future. That would be ideal with regards to competition next season, but it wouldn't change the fact that this conversation will likely be revisited next offseason. It would also require some interesting salary gymnastics. The Bruins will get more game from their young players next season, and that could give them a clearer indication of their immediate future beyond the playing careers of Bergeron and Krejci, using the regular season as a way to test Coyle and Zacha in a bigger role would also be advisable, as it would give the team the opportunity to rest Bergeron or Krejci periodically to keep them fresh in the postseason, should they return. It's wonderful to have you here. I am extremely happy with your presence and would love to hear your opinion in the comments, so that we can together expand our knowledge of Boston through this channel. Sharing knowledge is essential, so I would be very grateful if you would subscribe to our channel, allowing us to reach even more fans. With your help, I feel motivated to post videos daily and keep it constantly updated. By subscribing, you will receive notifications whenever a new video is published. Thank you immensely for your support.